And then what I do is I just hold them this way, because that way they're coated evenly. If you hold them this way, what happens is the gelatin runs down and you end up with you end up with the right in the center here. It's thicker and it doesn't look quite right.
So you hold it upside down?
I hold it this way until it congeals. And it congeals pretty fast. Look at this, see? It's already started to harden up. And I do 2 layers. I like 2 layers. So once it starts to thicken up, then I'll do another layer. I don't leave it in there that long. And see how I've got it turned over? That way we don't have any gelatin resting anywhere we don't want it to, although it is a little bit. Here. You can paint it too if you want. I just prefer to pour. Okay, and then once it's done, I have some. Oh, they actually just fall out. I did these. You know, it takes a couple hours. You can put it in front of a fan and it'll be dry in an hour. But they just come out. You don't need to treat it in any way. They just come out. Now, if you want 3D hearts, you can actually stick 2 of these together to make a 3D like little heart balloon, which would be really cute. But I didn't do that. It's a little tricky. If you're going to do it that way. Oh, got gelatin on the counter.
No way.
I know.
It happens.
All the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just these I got a little sloppy with, so you just trim them. It cuts really easily, you know, if you need to trim up your hearts. Cut them out. Ta-da! And then a little bit of piping gel. Well, that's what did I do with my piping gel? Oh, here it is. And a little bit of disco dust. Now remember, that's, you know, if you're not going to eat these. You better not eat these. Yuck.
They just wouldn't be tasty.
They're
edible,
don't taste
but just
good.
not
They are
tasty.
edible, but they don't taste good. So that's why I use the disco dust on them. So if you're going to eat them, don't put any disco dust on them. But a little bit of piping gel just around the edges here. And then you just put a little bit of disco dust so that they're sparkly. See? Ooh, pretty. Just a little bit now. The piping gel, you know, will make this is a thin gelatin. It'll actually kind of melt it a little bit. It makes it collapse a little bit. So be careful how much piping gel you put on there. You can actually dissolve the gelatin. So a little bit on there. And then what we'll do is we will attach them to our Eiffel Tower. So we have little hearts going up. And we'll actually attach a couple to the tower. And then we'll attach a couple more. I have 2 different sizes here. So I've got 2 big ones, and I'll use 3 little ones. And I've got a little thin wire here. You can use 28 gauge or 33 gauge, something really thin wire. And you can actually use the leftover gelatin that you've got. Just dip it in and touch your heart. I can do this. There we go. To make it stick. Whoops.
Can you demo that one more time?
Yeah. Yes, I can. You got to give it a second to stick. So as soon as it cools, it'll start to stick. I got to let it cool. Got to let it cool. There we go. And then what'll happen is you can add them on. See, and then you can bend the wire. Like I got 2 of them. I could actually put it in the middle of a wire. You can attach. They're really lightweight, so you can attach them anywhere on the wire, and it'll stick. Just got to use the gel to do it, the liquid gelatin. Okay? See, aren't they pretty? And they look like little balloons this way too. So we'll attach some to the Eiffel Tower, and the rest we'll put on the wire so they're floating like away from the tower, you know, floating up.